Hey everyone, welcome to Transcend's booth. This is Water Wisdom, where we get to host some of the most innovative companies in the water sector who are also customers of Transcend. Today I have Lance Rodeman from BCR. Lance is going to talk a bit about who he is and what they do, and we're going to get into some fun conversation.
Thank you, Adam. Yeah, I appreciate it. My name is Lance Rodeman. I'm the VP of Engineering and Product Management at BCR. It's an exciting biosolids solution company. So when we're talking about water wisdom, perhaps maybe the last little bit of water to squeeze out of anything that's solid is our job. So we have different products that do that. Two of them that we're really excited about are our BioScrew, which is an indirect thermal drop. And that's operating on biosolids that are usually coming after dewatering in the solids treatment train. And depending on where you're at, there's different reasons to dry, and whether you want to get to a Class A solid that can be land applied in many different locations, or if you just want to do volumetric production to be able to go to landfill, depending on what you have in the solids. And Clean B is a really innovative advanced oxidation process. That's a plug fill reactor that sits in between essentially a waste activated solids pump at the end of your secondary clarifier. And between there and the dewatering, in 10 minutes you get to Class B disinfection. A lot of some roll out. And so those are our two great technologies. Myself, I'm a process engineer at heart, and I've been able to build a team with some of the support from our company over the last 3 years to grow a lot. Part of our story has been to incorporate Transcend as a design generator, and we've done that so far with BioScrew. We're growing with other products that we can get into, and it's really simplified some of our operations so that we can focus on continuing to build products.
Great. I'm curious if somebody's walking around WEFTech or comes across BCR, and they're curious to know, why would I choose your equipment over name a competitor of choice?
Sure.
What's the value prop of BCR? Why are we going with you?
We care a lot about our customers. I mean, part of the most difficult parts, I'm double repeating there, but the most difficult part about putting in a complex process system is worrying about feeding it and taking it away in reality, and making sure that process occurs seamlessly. And so a lot of what we've been really successful on is incorporating things in the front and behind us. We have inside of our organization integrated electrical and controls and instrumentation personnel, great engineers, and being able to offer the customer a full suite solution rather than just saying, this is what I have, grade it as you will, has been really effective. Yeah. And the other thing is, my personal story. My dad, a truck driver, 35 years old. But before that, he was a farmer. And he operated farm equipment. He said, you have to make it simple, and then you have to take your cue from the person who worked your piece of equipment every day. That's one of the most important things I ever learned as an engineer, was to shut up and listen first. And that's part of what we've done, is gone to installations of thermal dryers. And what really makes your job go? What can you do for it? And serving our customers in that way has come to, obviously fixing what we can mechanically to make these complex systems as easy to operate, as robust as possible, but delving further into process. And that's really, that's my interest as an engineer and process engineer, and making that as easy as possible. Because thinking analogously, like 70% of the expenditure of the total life of that piece of equipment is energy, and how best to manage that. When you have this pump is relatively simplistic. You have a couple things to do. We have 14 unit operational processes occurring that make this solids processing occur well. And managing all that process control is our next biggest thing right now.
Got it.
And I think that's probably one of our things that stands us apart.
I love it. Keep it simple. You can't go wrong with that advice. Maybe we should call it farmer wisdom.
I say just hide the complexity back, in something that's automated. But yeah, you have to keep it simple for the people operators.
I love that. And if you're a municipality or maybe even an engineering consultant looking to work with equipment like yours, who is your ideal customer? If they're listening to this and you say, hey, if you are this persona, we should work together, who is that?
So we work best, and our equipment platform fits in best in small to medium size. So, our sweet spot for drying is somewhere below 60 MGD, and with Clean B, with the oxidation treatment process, below 20. And in reality, most of our customers are people that have never had biosolids treatment. what the end step for them has been due diligence. And they're looking at how do we take ownership over our process to give ourselves basically tools. In the regulatory environment, and also in the economic environment, they're facing a lot of these issues. One of them being forever chemicals. Also, just the other part would be there's just less places to put the solids if you don't have a certain size of solid. And so we found that most of our customers, when they look back on what drove them to us, it was the confidence of our install base, being able to go see, touch, and feel, and then also our team, really, our technical team, surveying them and saying, "We'll answer any questions you have. We'll take you there. We'll show you whatever you need to know. That way you can get over the hump." Because I think the hardest part is not raising the money, making sure that you have the design. It's once the piece of equipment shows up and it gets handed over, and you got a 3,000-page manual. And they're just looking at it with numb eyes, They need to be dealt with. They need to be feeling like they're in safe hands.
For sure.
They're going on. That's the problem.
Definitely. I love that. Anything else in the world of water you're excited about, innovation-wise, either BCR or otherwise?
Well, I'm excited about AI coming in.
Okay.
For sure. I think that's going to be really awesome. That's one of the biggest parts of my job in process control is making sure we have all the hardware and software to bring the data to a secure data server, because we own our own, and then being able to look at what offerings we have here and being able to finish all the AI and everything and make use of it. Because it's too big for humans to look at, unless you're a specialist and you look at your certain subset, train the machines, and then get the data, get value back out. I think that's one thing. In our space, in solids handling, forever chemicals, and how to deal with those, really important right now. And we're really lucky. We're at a confluence of everybody knows that there's shrinking space, more cost on transport, and now you have forever chemicals, and that's pushing a lot of folks into how do I prepare my operation for these markets? Because right now you're essentially having a shakeout of technology. So everybody's in a very nascent stage of growing, and then regulations are being put in place, and honestly, analytical techniques are barely catching up. Nobody can really agree on which analysis is going to be the one that everybody uses. So it's an exciting time in the industry, and our part really is to prepare people for it. The drying is a preparatory step in most ways of destroying defects. So I think that's one of the coolest things about being here.
Very good. Anything else you want to talk about or mention?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say one of the things that I'm the most proud of for our company, is our dedication to service. And my previous position was dealing with produced water, and you have some extremely skilled operators in the oil and gas sector that are great service. And we've been able to bring those folks into our organization and put them forward to a customer. And then my CEO, I'm sure, is watching this somewhere, somehow, has allowed us to go purchase a ton of cool equipment. Really specialized tools to support our customers. Because of that, we're growing our business, not just with capital sales, but with service in the field, which is great. And some of that, the greatest benefit from that is shown. We've seen places that have had lifts throughput of about 12%. It doesn't sound like a lot, but 12% is quite a lot. And then mean time between failures increasing to the point where they can operate continuously for 6 months.
Wow. And
that's really, in thermal drying, that's the name of the game. You stay as steady as you can, as long as you can, and squeeze out every watt that you can, whatever you can squeeze. So that's a passion of mine. And, we have great people here. It all comes back to people. So that's one of the cool things about meeting those people face to face rather than through a Zoom call or a Teams call. And it's been great. Part of that story as well is integrating how we face the customer first, which is, for us, it's budgetary big picture. And us engineers, we like to overcomplicate things, right? But then when we have other jobs to do, we shouldn't be the ones really fulfilling budgetary expectations. And so using your tool has been great, because it honestly is really nice to describe to somebody else who's a skilled programmer how you go through your design.
Oh, sure.
That way they can say, okay, we can do this way. This is very simplified. It's overly complex. So you have a better way to do this. And so I dealt with a guy in Rodolfo. He did excellent.
Rodolfo's phenomenal.
Excellent. If you're listening, Rodolfo, thank you so much for all your skills. And going through that process, honestly, helps you, I would say, drill down what's really what you need to get this done. and then standardizing and having a single source of truth on that is very, very powerful for us because we have remote sales networks.
Sure.
Right. Like pretty much probably everybody does now. And being able to, I don't want to be overly controlling, but I want guidelines.
Right.
Of how it's supposed to go. And also, it's nice when it's not on your entirely. Sure. That has been very helpful. And it also allows us to focus our efforts as engineers where they should be best served, which is making the equipment better.
Yep. Yeah. I'm curious then. You talked about the excitement of AI in the industry.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we talk to engineers, there's a lot of fear relative to AI, and even our software, when they say, well, this is going to take my job, I'm no longer focusing on the engineering I've always done or the spreadsheets that I've always had. What's your sort of response or take on that?
Take that time and focus on something, right? Something that is, if it's repeatable, we always knew from the Industrial Revolution going forward, it was going to repeat. Find what you're best at that a machine can't do. We can teach a machine, and you're still going to bring value. I mean, the speed of market, everything that is. The other thing is, if you do actually capture that data and make use of for sure. So, that's one of the big things I like is that you can go see every single design generated, and then there's also, you can approve, deny, move whatever's needs to move, and having that record in one central place with everybody's vision on it allows you to get better faster.
It's great to hear. So Lance, we're super happy to have BCR as a client, as a partner.
Yeah.
Appreciate you joining us at the booth today.
Thank you.
Look forward to working.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.